Good morning. Yes, as I said earlier, it's another month. Here we go, September, October, November, December. I won't even mention that month. But we have a new theme, new book that I'll be covering. It's by Pema Chodron. When things, and I say in parentheses, appear to fall apart. And so we will be talking about those times in our lives where things appear to fall apart. And how do we deal with them? How do we deal with those things that all of a sudden just knock us off our pedestal and we're sitting there or standing there going, what just hit me? Right? So how do we deal with those things that just all of a sudden take us off our feet? So that's what I'm going to be talking about mostly this month. So this morning's topic, however, is this very moment is the perfect teacher. Yes. So how many of us in our life have gone through a particular moment in time where we're thinking, that wasn't real comfortable feeling, or that was just really bad. And so what we do in our minds is we build up these horrible experiences, when really, what would it look like if we stepped back and we looked at that experience and said, what is mine to know through this? What is mine to know in this experience? Instead of just sitting there in victimhood and going, oh my God, what happened to me? You can say, okay, this or something better. What is mine to know? And I was sitting this week and I was thinking, what would it look like? How could we imagine, say, a conversation with God? So I came up with this little conversation. So picture yourself just absolutely, I don't even want to say broken, but you're just kind of like, what am I to do? And you say, hey, God. And God says, hello. And of course, the response is, God, I'm falling apart. Can you put me back together? And God says, I'd rather not. Me, why? God says, because you're not a puzzle. Okay? Me, what about all the pieces of my life that fall to the ground? And God says, leave them there for a while. They fell for a reason. Let them be there for a while and then decide if you need to take any of those pieces back. Me, you don't understand. I'm breaking. And God says, no, you don't understand. You're transcending, evolving. What you feel are growing pains. You're getting rid of the things and people in your life that are holding you back. The pieces are not falling down. The pieces are being put in place. Relax. Take a deep breath. Yes, and let those things that you no longer need fall down. Stop clinging to pieces that are no longer for you. Let them fall and let them go. Me. Once I start doing that, what will I have left? And God says, only the best pieces of yourself. Me. I'm afraid to change. And God says, I keep telling you, you're not changing. You're becoming. Me? Becoming who? And God says, becoming who I created you to be. A person of light, love, charity, hope, courage, joy, mercy, grace, and compassion. I made you for so much more than those shallow pieces you decided to adorn yourself with, and that you cling to with so much greed and fear. Let those things fall off of you. I love you. Don't change. Become. Don't change. Become. You become. This, all of this, until you remember. Me. Oh, there goes another piece. And God says, yes. Let it be like this. Me. So, I'm not broken? And God says, no. But you're breaking the darkness like dawn. It's a new day. Become who you really are. So my question to all of you is, who are you? Who are you? And why are you holding back? Why are you holding back? I know each and every one of us has something that we've held back in our lives. And I can tell you a very brief little story about mine. Years ago, in a galaxy far, far away, when I was born, God granted me a gift. And my gift was the gift of voice, to be able to sing. And in my younger years, I spent a lot of time doing that. And I also learned how to play the guitar. And I had a lot of fun. Of course, singing in choirs and doing all that stuff. Well, one day, I decided to become a minister. And the minister that I was under at the time, as being a practitioner, I went up to them and I said, I'm going to go to ministry school. I'm going to go to Holmes Institute. And they said, well, great. Now you can be the singing minister. And instead of taking that as a positive, I actually took it as a negative. I thought, I don't want to be the singing minister. That's not who I have become. That's not what I want to do when I become a minister. And by the way, I had no idea that I was going to be a pulpit minister because the entire time I was in school, I said no. And this is where I'm at. So let's put it this way. When we say no, God says, yes. You're going to do that one thing that you're struggling against. And here I am. I have become that. But throughout my whole ministry, I have struggled with my music. I have put it under a bushel. I have put it away in a cupboard. I rarely allow it to come out, except when I sing with all of you. But it's something that I struggle with. Because I'm thinking, my thing is to be the minister with the message so that everyone that as we come together as a spiritual community, it's all about the healing. It's all about looking at what is going on in our lives and saying this or something better. And that's my message. So eventually, and I am working through that, but it's something that I hold back. And many have said why. And I'm still discovering why. And I know that that's a journey with all of us. Is we know that what we want to project, what we want to do, but there's something within us that says, no, I don't want to do that. It's maybe an uncomfortable part, but really we will be finding comfort in the uncomfortable. It's interesting how our lives, as we move forward, are somewhat unresolved. So how do we resolve the disappointment, embarrassment, irritation, resentment, anger? Those are our teachers. Those emotions are our teachers every single day. What they do is they teach us what is going on within us, how we're feeling, what is going on, where it is. Where is it in the body? Now, I'm sure each and every one of us have felt maybe disappointment or anger. Have you felt it in your stomach? Have you felt it in your head? Where do you feel that? So ask yourself, and ask that part of yourself, what is asking me to know what about that so that I can release it? I can let it go. You know, we're often stuck in these moments because we lack clarity. Actually, we lack nothing. We just allow ourselves to become quiet and really, really, really look at what's going on. There was a movie, I think it was, I don't know, maybe 2013. It was a long time ago, but it was with our I know, a long time ago, our friend Robin Williams. Yes, whoops. It was called Patch Adams. Yes, wasn't that a wonderful? It was a wonderful experience. So there was this one character in the mental hospital that he was in, that he was the doctor of, and he was named Arthur Mendelsohn. Arthur actually, for being where he was actually very smart, and he was actually probably not a mental case at all. And what he taught Patch was a lot more things than what Patch could learn in, say, a classroom. So one day Patch was having an issue, and Arthur said, "Come over here, Patch. I want to show you something." He says, "How many fingers do I have up?" And Patch said, "Well, you have 4." He says, "Are you sure? Sure I have 4?" And then Patch looked again, and there were 8. Yes. So Arthur says to Patch, if you focus on the problem, you can't see the solution. A change in perspective and focus causes something new to appear. Each day we are given new opportunities to where we can open up or we can shut down. Mostly when things get difficult or we get to our limit, we shut down. We just say push it away, and we say, you know what, maybe I'll deal with that another time. Instead of sitting down with it and saying, okay, what is mine to know from this opportunity? Mostly when we look at those situations in our life where we don't want to go there because we feel worthless, or some other stuff is going on to create a victimhood in our life. What's really happening is life has nailed you to the wall. Yes, and said, deal with it. And then again, our response is, well, how do I do that? I don't know how. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. In this very moment is a teaching moment where you can say, okay, if I am so uncomfortable in this situation, what is showing up for me that I need to know? Often when we do that, sometimes we light our hair on fire and run. Right? Right? Yes. Because okay, I was good. I sat there for 2 seconds and I dealt with it. Right, exactly. No, I didn't. I didn't sit there for more than 2 seconds. When things appear to be falling apart, they're actually falling together. Pema Chodron said, there are so many ways that have been dreamt up to entertain us away from the moment. Soften its hard edge, deaden it so we don't have to feel the full impact of the pain that arises when we cannot manipulate the situation to make us come out looking fine. Ta-da! Yes, we want to look great. So how do we deal with these things? Well, my personal favorites are to journal or to go find a quiet meditation place. And the reason why I like to find a quiet meditation place is because there is where that still small voice speaks to me. It will say, okay, you know that situation that you're in right now? It'll be over in a few days. Anchor in. Anchor into your heart and know that there is always a solution. So many times we tell our problems to God when actually our God is bigger than our problems. That's all we need to recognize is how big, ask yourself, how big is your God compared to the issue at hand? How big is that? Whatever presence, whatever you want to call it, I call it God. Whatever presence it is, know that it is bigger than whatever is going on. A lot of things that happen with us with situations is that what's really happening when we experience pain in these things is because something's dying. Something's dying that we no longer need. Something's dying that we no longer can be familiar with. It's what's having to emerge is something new. And yet we're still going, I want this. I can't let go. Yes, you can. Because in dying, we're living. What we're doing is we're letting go, we're releasing and allowing all that wonderful new energy, all that wonderful new love to fill us and allow us to be who we have wanted to become. Things are going to get uncomfortable. They're supposed to. That's just the way it is. Change is shift. Shift is change. And what happens is it asks us to grow. It asks us to grow more than what we're doing. Instead of sitting in the corner somewhere and going, okay, someday I'm going to do this or whatever it is, God or the energy around us says, no, you're going to do it right now. Right now. That's what we're going to do. And what happens is we fight all the way. We think of excuses for not entering into it. We stand at the threshold of our own good and we refuse to cross it. Yet in those instances of life where we do cross the threshold, oh my gosh, everything opens up. Everything is available to us. And we think, why didn't I do that before? Why didn't I take a chance? Why didn't I live and breathe and have my being instead of living in fear and anxiety? And that's usually what it is, fear and anxiety, when we have a knee-jerk reaction to whatever is shifting and changing in our life. Sometimes what happens is we think it has control over us. No, you have the choice. Each and every one of us has a choice to change whatever it is in our life. We can say no. If something is changing that we do not have control over, then we can just basically get on the wave and surf. We can just ride it out. And the whole time, my suggestion would be, what is mine to know through this situation? What is mine to be? What is my part in it? All kinds of questions. Ernest Holmes said, compassion and caring are the ties that bind us together in mutual understanding in the unified attempt to uncover the divinity in each other. Compassion is the most gentle of all human virtues, for it is the outpouring of the divine givingness through all. Compassion is when we feel for the other. You know, Buddhists, in fact, Pema Chodron, I was reading her biography. You know, she was the first female monk in Buddhism. Yeah. She burst through the door. She said, you know what? I'm done with my life over here. I want to be this life over here. And I really like Buddhism. And the regular monks said, no, you can't be a monk. There are no women in Buddhism. And she said, really? Watch me. And she did. And each and every one of us has that same power. We can focus on a goal and say, yes, this is what I'm going to do. Even though the doors close or we appear to be closed, they're not really. We just have to work at it. How badly do you want it? And so what happens is when we work together, we are showing compassion for one another. We're working together in love. We're helping each other heal. You know that whenever we heal something for ourselves, we're actually healing it for the world. It's like a pebble. It goes out and vibrates all over. And somewhere along the line, someone is going to catch that vibration and say, oh, I can do this. I can do this. We are in Earth School, and we will continually have experiences that go up and down. And the wonderful thing about having new thought or science of mind or unity or divine science or whatever you want to call them, the wonderful thing about new thought is that we open ourselves up to know that God and we are working together. That whatever's going on is possible. We're not doing this life alone. That everything is our teacher. And that when things appear to crumble or go away or whatever it is, it's actually making room for something new. Something new for us to experience. So when that happens, don't look at it as something bad. Look at it as, okay, here we go. What's my next experience? Have you ever thought that when something is, I guess I'll use this term, when something is taken away, maybe the reason why that's taken away is so that something else can replace it that's even better. So don't mourn what's taken away. Go, okay, what's next? What's next? What is my next experience? There's a lot of things going on in the world, and I know a lot of us have some fear and anxiety and question marks about what's going to happen in the next few months. And what I ask you to do is in your consciousness, just know that the presence of God is the love that you are. God's got this and it will not drop us. The reason why things happen sometimes or they're played out the way they are is because it's our consciousness. Have you ever thought, and this kind of shocked me one day when a colleague said this, and we were discussing one of my not favorite subjects, which was politics, and she said, have you ever thought that what is being created right now is the consciousness that we are calling in? I went, what? She says, on a subconscious level, maybe whatever this is going on out here is what we are experiencing as humans. So once we heal whatever's going on out here, then everything in love and compassion will appear. Everything is good. And everything is God. So just know that, please know, God's got you 24/7, 365. And when things really do feel like they're falling apart, they're actually falling together in love. Namaste. I love you. And so it is. Yes. And so let us this morning come together in the silence for just a brief time, just knowing that God is right where we are, right now. Things are always moving up and out. Things are always changing and shifting. And what we know about those changes and shifts is that it is for our highest good. It is for whatever we're experiencing to grow, to be on that spiritual path of growth, to know that we are ever expanding, as does love. So this I am truly grateful for all of us in this world, for this beautiful global community that we call humanity. So grateful for all that is and all that will be. God's got this. God's got all of us. And with a very, very grateful heart, I just say thank you, God, for all of this and so much more, as together we say, and so it is.